The Buzz is proudly sponsored by Cayman Insurance Center, specializing in property, life, and other lines of insurance products and services. And Kirk Market. Experience a world of choice. And Automotive Art Cayman. Your car, our passion. And by Dorman Day, celebrating 10 years of opening doors to brighter futures. Visit dormanday.ky.
And now, Radio Cayman presents The Buzz, an insightful and fresh take on a variety of issues that impact the local environment. This is where we address the topics that matter. Here's your host, Kathy Miller.
Good morning, Cayman. How's everybody doing out there? It's been a couple of weeks. I haven't been with you, but it's good to be back in Cayman. Good to be back in the Radio Cayman studios, and definitely great to be back and hosting The Buzz again. So happy to say that in this segment of The Buzz, we're going to be talking with Caribbean Haven. So we're turning our attention to an organization that has quietly, consistently, and compassionately transformed lives for a quarter of a century. Celebrating 25 years of service, hope, and recovery this month is Caribbean Haven Residential Center, the Cayman Islands' dedicated residential treatment facility for adults living with substance use disorders. This morning's conversation is going to reflect on Caribbean Haven's milestone anniversary, 25 years, and explore the realities of recovery, especially as we head into the holiday season. So we're going to dive right in, and I'm welcoming this morning to our studios. We have Kim Febres, Clinical Supervisor at Caribbean Haven, and Jane Isaacs, Program Coordinator. Good morning, ladies.
Good morning. Thanks for having us.
Good morning.
How are you doing today?
Great. Thank you.
It's good to have you. I know, Kim, I had you on, I think, in September sometime.
Recovery Month.
Recovery Month, we were talking. That's, I think, when I first met you as well. So it's good to bring the conversation back again and now talk about your anniversary. So before we get into that, I want to give listeners a bit of an idea of who we're talking with. So if you could briefly describe your role with Caribbean Haven.
Okay, so I'm this is Kimberly Febres, and I'm the clinical supervisor. So my role is to sort of kind of oversee the daily operations and also provide clinical guidance to the staff. So making sure the services are being delivered to the highest standards, making sure the staff are really supported in what they're doing. So, yeah, and then kind of at a strategic level, making sure we're moving towards the goals and the vision that we have for our organization.
All right.
Yeah, and then Jane is my right hand there.
Yeah. Good morning, everybody. My name is Jane Isaacs, Program Coordinator. I'm more or less I have a supporting role alongside Kimberly, overseeing the operation and program that we run, and supporting the clinical realm as well, alongside Kimberly.
Okay, awesome. So for the listeners who may not fully understand your work, can you walk us through your current services that Caribbean Haven provides, including non-medical, detox, and long-term residential care?
Sure. So those are the two main programs that we have. At the moment, we're only serving adults, so people over 18, although we have a vision to expand that in the future if we can. And people can come to us to detox. So as you said, it's non-medical, meaning we're not a hospital. We don't have doctors or nurses on staff. So anyone who wants to stop using substances and has kind of mild to moderate potential for withdrawal symptoms can come and do it safely with us. So that's usually people who are withdrawing from cocaine or marijuana. And if they are also using other substances like alcohol or opiates or benzodiazepines, they can always do a detox at the hospital first and then come to us for the treatment program, which is our long-term residential program. It's intensive. It's not an easy program, but it's a transformational program. So it's an opportunity for people to kind of completely rebuild their life vision so that they can create a satisfying life where it's easier not to use alcohol and drugs.
And sometimes we all need a little bit of support in achieving these goals.
Yeah,
so
we definitely
that
do.
can definitely be a huge one.
Mm-hmm.
Can anybody walk in, or do you have to be recommended by a doctor or professional to go to Caribbean Haven?
Sure, I can answer that. So, a referral can be self-referral or through any other person or agency. However, we do require to be able to speak to the individual one-on-one. We collect information around whether they would be suitable for our services, and then once we're able to establish that, we organise or plan with the individual for them to be able to come in at a certain time to our what we call withdrawal management unit, which is the first step within Caribbean Haven for non-medical detox.
Do you have a lot of people who self-refer?
We do. Probably most of our referrals are self-referral. But we have a fair amount who are referred by other professionals or even through the legal system, through the court system or the prison system. But the majority of people do self-refer.
That's awesome.
It is.
That's very commendable, I think. It's people who want to take a different step and, you know, hopefully brighten their path in life and recognize that they need to make that decision for themselves. So I love that. I think that's great. So we're marking 25 years this month. Now, looking back at the year 2000, what was the original vision that led to the establishment of Caribbean Haven?
Yeah.
If you can speak on that.
Sure. Well, at the time, there were no services in the Cayman Islands for people who were, there were no residential services, let me say, for people who were struggling with addiction and substance use. So this was an answer to that need. People were being sent overseas for treatment, which comes with a host of its own issues, just kind of being isolated from your community and your family and the cost, you know, that it to the country of doing that. And so Caribbean Haven was the local solution to be able to provide this service right here on island for the people who need it.
All right. So 25 years. What exactly or who exactly does Caribbean Haven cater to, and has that changed over the years? I know you said for 18 and older, right?
Right. So it's adults. It's always been for adults. It's always been for men and women, but it has evolved over the years where the programming used to be co-ed and now it's gender specific. So there's separate programming for men and women now. It started as a 3-week day program basically, and now it's evolved into, you know, a 3 to 6 months intensive, inpatient stay. So it's when we've made those decisions to shift and change our programming, it's always been in response to the community, what the data is telling us, who are the people who are showing up needing services. And it's primarily people who are addicted to substances. So we don't necessarily treat only other addictions, like, you know, if someone had a gambling addiction or something.
Okay.
We do have people who struggle with that, but they also have a substance dependence.
So you focus on the substance use disorder that they may have. Okay, got it. Now, when you said it started as co-ed, that's interesting to me. I can kind of understand what made it gender specific now with the programs. Is there any part of the programming that you offer that is co-ed again?
A bit, and mostly in partnership with our peer recovery groups like AA and NA. We do take our clients out to those groups so that they have the opportunity to start building their sober support networks. And so those are obviously co-ed. And we've actually been talking recently about how we might be able to incorporate more, because obviously people are going to have to deal with each other in the community. So there's some benefit to kind of learning those skills and how to build those healthy relationships during treatment too.
That's true. I could see that. And I can understand the separation again of the gender.
Yeah.
It can be a very personal thing.
Right.
Recovery is a personal thing for sure. So it can be a part of what I understand in the recovery programs is your kind of the group sessions that you have with people, a lot of one-on-one work that you have to do, but then the group sessions as well. And I think, I just think that's such an important part, because to me, I'm learning more and more like connectivity with each other.
Yeah.
It's just such an important thing in our daily lives, and to get through whatever we got to do, it's just learning how to connect properly with people. And sometimes we have to take a step back and relearn how to do that in a way that benefits us and others the best, right?
Absolutely. Yeah.
Okay, so going to the biggest challenges in those early years. I don't know if you can speak on that, Kim, because I don't think you were there for the 25 years, right? But if you know about it, especially before Caribbean Haven existed, many clients, you said, were sent overseas for treatment, correct? Were there any other great challenges that you saw that Caribbean Haven, or that you knew that Caribbean Haven had to deal with?
Yeah, and it's actually some of the same challenges that we're still facing today. And a lot of those are systemic challenges. So we can have the best treatment program in the world, but if we're sending people from our treatment program right back to the environment where they came to us from, it's going to be much harder for them to maintain their recovery. So trying to develop a continuum of care that goes beyond just what Caribbean Haven offers and is more systemic in the Cayman culture has been a challenge through all the years and still is, and is something that's, that I think we can look at as a country, just how we're supporting our overall health and wellness, not just within treatment programs, but even in the community. Yeah, I don't know if you want to add to that.
Along with stigma, which is a huge thing, for not just addictions, but mental health as well, which often go hand in hand. So, in regards to the systemic challenges we have, they play a big part.
And it's hard because I feel like there's been a lot of focus, especially on mental health awareness in the past few years in Cayman. There's been a lot of focus with that and in trying to really understand where everybody's at, to get the message out that if you are struggling with your mental health, there is support groups. People go through it, but there's ways that you can get help.
Yeah.
It has been a really big focus, and I like to see it. And now I'm not sure are we hearing about a lot more challenges because we're focusing on it a lot more, or is it really the sense of there is an uprise in challenges with people, maybe because just life circumstances?
Some of
It's
both,
hard.
I think. I mean, I think part of why we're able to talk about it so much more openly now and hear about it more is because some of the stigma is decreasing, which is a good thing.
Yeah.
People are more comfortable and feeling safer kind of coming forward with their stories and asking for help. But some of it, I think, also is just, we are consciously, intentionally trying to bring it to the forefront of the community's awareness so that we can address it and help those people. And, not when they hit rock bottom, but before it gets to the worst it could ever be.
And there's a lot of resources needed to help people go through the programs that you offer, especially at Caribbean Haven, right? So I can see that there could be quite the challenge there in securing those resources and support, the funding and whatnot. How do you try to, I guess, navigate that?
Right. Well, we're very grateful because we're currently fully funded by the government. So the Ministry of Health fully funds our operations so clients can access them at no cost. And we can always use more resources. So there's that kind of paradox where we're so glad we have this service and people don't have to, be billed through their insurance or they don't have to pay to access it. And we can also use more. So, we're actually in the process now of writing a business case and looking at how we can redevelop to make sure we really are best meeting the needs of the population and that our services are up to par with international standards and best practices, so that we can, preserve the dignity of the people we serve and make sure they really are getting what they need.
Right, and the best treatment that we can offer them here in Cayman,
Exactly.
for sure.
Yeah.
I'm sure you've seen then Cayman kind of grow miles in the treatments that are being offered.
Absolutely.
How does that feel for you to see how far Caribbean Haven has gone?
Oh, it's amazing. It like I said, it went from being just kind of a 3-week day program to being this intensive wraparound care where we use a treatment model called dialectical behavior therapy. And that also evolved, over the years to meet the needs of the population we serve. And we also offer case management. So we're taking this whole person approach, and just looking at all of their needs. And, we're doing reintegration into the community so that we can give them their best chance of recovery. So it's been amazing to see how we've been able to grow the program to make sure it's as comprehensive as possible.
Yeah. And just to add the importance of our working relationships with external stakeholders and also our sister services within our Department of Counselling and working alongside them, because often when our clients or individuals do leave us, they do often go to the community services that we offer with Department of Counselling Services.
Okay.
So those relationships are really important alongside their treatment.
We're going to get a lot more into the treatment, the relationships that Caribbean Haven does have with different agencies and support groups on island, what you're 25-year anniversary celebrations will be, and a lot more. We're going to take a quick commercial break right now, but we'll continue our discussion right after this break.
The Cayman Islands boasts of a long, colorful, and rich history. In tribute to our roots, Radio Cayman, the voice of the Cayman Islands, is pleased to bring you the Historical Vignette Series, brought to you by Rotary Central. For more than 110 years, Rotary members have used their passion, energy, and intelligence to take action on sustainable projects. The Cayman Islands, He hath founded it upon the seas.
The Bay Islands of the northern shores of Honduras, including Utila, Rotan, and Guanaja or Panaca, along with the islets of Elaine, Barbarat, and Murat, saw a rather rapid and dramatic settlement of Caymanians following emancipation in the Cayman Islands. By 1858, when the full census of the Bay Islands was taken, the population was 1,548, just shy of the population of the Cayman Islands. Of the 1,548 permanent settlers, nearly 40% or 600 were born in the Cayman Islands, with another 300 born in the Bay Islands to Caymanian parents. In total, 60% of the Bay Islands population was in effect of Caymanian birth or roots. Color and class was the prominent social hierarchy, more so than the Cayman Islands, with 319 whites to 1,229 non-whites.
Information from this historical vignette was sourced from Founded Upon the Seas, A History of the Cayman Islands and Their People by Michael Creighton and the New History Committee.
Rotary Central Music Extravaganza tickets, sizzling hot and moving. Get your tickets now. Grand prize $40,000. Second prize $4,000. 6 $1,000 prizes. Sellers prizes up to $5,000. Get your $25 ticket from Rotary Central members. Rotary ticket sellers across Cayman. Eventpro.ky. Funky Tangs, Shudden Road. Rotarian Annie Rose Scott in Cayman Brack. A.L. Thompson's Home Depot, Georgetown. And other locations. Rotary Central Cayman Islands. Supporting more than 70 projects across our community, across the Cayman Islands. The 30th annual Rotary Central Music Extravaganza, Saturday, November 29. Jamming with Sugar Daddy, Los Tropicanos, and musical crew at Salty's Harbor Grill, Red Bay. Your ticket, your chance through Rotary Central.
Radio Cayman's Historical Vignettes was brought to you by Rotary Central. For more than 110 years, Rotary members have used their passion, energy, and intelligence to take action on sustainable projects.
Looking for fresh, healthy food that's full of flavor? Then you've got to visit Kirk Market. Our dishes are made with fresh, high-quality ingredients. Enjoy vibrant mixed greens or satisfying pasta salads. Or try one of our delicious grill options like blackened chicken, spicy beef steak, or grilled salmon. Looking for something light and flavorful? We've got sushi rolls and poke bowls prepared daily. And don't forget to explore a hot bar or Billy Fresh salad at the salad bar. Stop by Kirk Market today for breakfast, lunch, or dinner and taste the difference. Eat well, live well with Kirk Market.
I'm Michael Webster.
And I'm Denise Brown of Cayman Insurance Center.
Family is not the most important thing, it's everything.
We have worked with the community and their families on protecting themselves for the future.
Whether it's providing top-rated life insurance
or protecting your family's household investment.
From our family to yours, we understand and we care.
I'm Denise Brown. Call me at 814-7229.
And I'm Michael Webster at 925-5433.
We are Cayman Insurance Center,
specializing in property, life, and other lines of insurance products and services at an affordable rate. We are Michael and
Denise at Cayman Insurance Center.
Call today.
Parents, if you're navigating the world of boarding schools, it can feel overwhelming. Dorm and Day are here to help. You don't have to do it alone. Whether your child is reaching for new academic challenges, looking to shine as a competitive athlete, or simply searching for the school that brings out their best, Dorm and Day are your trusted educational experts located right here in Georgetown. For 10 years, Dorm and Day have helped families just like yours to find the best fit schools with one-on-one support every step of the way. So why stress when you can have an experienced partner by your side? Visit dormandday.ky or Call 936-3676 today. Doorman Day, celebrating 10 years of opening doors to brighter futures.
The year's largest Black Friday sale is back at Kirk Freeport. Enjoy 4 days of once-a-year deals on luxury jewelry, watches, fragrances, accessories, and more. From Thursday, November 27th until Monday, December 1st, find unbeatable discounts, up to 75% off of your favorite brands, located across Kirk Freeport's network of locations. Shop brands such as Pandora, Fossil, Citizen, David Yurman, and more. Visit kirkfreeport.com for store details.
And wasting time in traffic? Say goodbye to gridlock and hello to freedom with a Kimco scooter from Automotive Art. Trusted in over 100 countries, Kimco is now known worldwide for reliable, fuel-efficient scooters built to last. Perfect for Cayman's roads. With 2 models to choose from, the Agility 125cc for just $23.99 and the Agility RS Naked 125cc for $24.99. It's the smart, budget-friendly way to beat traffic and cut costs. Visit Automotive Art today and ride smarter with Kimco, because saving money should never mean slowing down.
The Buzz with your host, Kathy Miller.
Welcome back to The Buzz. I'm your host, Kathy Miller, and I am talking with Caribbean Haven this morning. In studio, I have with me Kim Febres. She's the clinical supervisor, and Jane Isaacs, program coordinator at Caribbean Haven. And we got into a little bit of the history, the purpose of Caribbean Haven, and before the break, Kim had mentioned 3 words, dialectical behavior theory, which... Therapy, sorry, my bad. Everything's a theory to me, so my bad. But dialectical behavior therapy. And if you could explain what that is, break it down. It's not familiar to me so much, but we threw it out there, so I want to let the people know.
Yeah, definitely. This is the treatment model that our program is based on. It's evidence-based. It's been around since the 80s. And it's really based on 3 theories. So we'll get into your theories. So dialectical, which is the D of DBT, is one of them. And that just basically says that there are dialectics or opposites present within and around us, just at all times. And those impact sort of the way we see the world and the way we interact with the world. So it's basically just the notion that 2 things can be true at the same time. And as we're trying to navigate through life, we're always trying to balance between those 2 things and what can we accept and what we may need to change. So things like, here's a popular one. So like I want to lose weight and get healthy, and I love chocolate ice cream. Those 2 things are true, right? I want to save money and I want to buy all the things. These are dialectics, right? And then when we get into addictions treatment, it's things like I want to be clean and sober and I like the way I feel when I use substances. And I want help and, I'm also afraid to ask for help. So those 2 things are true. And we work with our clients to try to say, okay, if these things are true, is there any part of that that you can accept and live with? And what part of it might you need to change in order for things to be different in your life? So that's sort of the main theory. One of the other main theories behind the treatment model is mindfulness. So paying attention to what's going on in the moment very intentionally and on purpose, noticing what's happening in your body, what you're feeling, what your thoughts are. You mentioned before connection.
Yes.
So mindfulness is about being connected to yourself, which is quite the opposite of addiction, which is being very disconnected from yourself. A lot of people who use substances are trying to numb. They're trying not to feel, not to think, to escape something that's painful or difficult that they may be going through. So when we're trying to teach our clients to be mindful, we're bringing them back. Let's reconnect to what you're feeling, what's happening, so you can notice what's going on with you and then respond to that in a compassionate way.
Can I jump in?
Absolutely, yeah.
The mindfulness is interesting, and it's almost, I see 2 sides here. So I see, is it the dialect? Is this
probably
the right use of the word right here? I see the 2 things can be true here in the wanting to numb yourself, but then I also see with some substance users that they'll use some substances to open up their mind and connect more deeply within themselves, for example. You see how my voice changed when, when I say, you know what I mean? So it's interesting because there's use cases like that as well. People that just want to, explore the realms of their mind, right? The capacity of it per se.
Yeah. I guess, that's true. That you make a good point, and there are substances that allow that. But I guess the trouble there is in doing that, are they then becoming disconnected from others? So like there's going to be disconnection at some point when you're using a mind altering substance and you're not, kind of fully in control of where you're at, so it's the mindfulness is about being present with where you're at.
Gotcha.
In a very intentional way. So that's a big hallmark of our program. We do it at the beginning of every group, just about every session. Our staff does it. Like in our team meetings, we start with mindfulness because we just want to model that for our clients to say, it's so important to be present in the here and now. So we need to make sure we are that way so we're able to be grounded and support them.
So when you say you start with mindfulness, and especially like in a staff session, what does this involve? Are you just asking your staff, where are you right now? What are you feeling right now?
It could be, It could be. Mindfulness is lots of things. A lot of people think it means meditation, but it's not. That's one way to be mindful, but it could also just be noticing, like feeling your body in the chair, feeling your feet on the floor,
Which we can't do right now.
Can't do that right now. Too short. But things like that. It might be sort of using your senses to observe the world around you. It really could be so many different things.
Yeah, it's really knowing where you are in that moment. Like for us, we're in the studio, there's the TV on, it's got red and blue colours, it's got the words The Buzz, so it's really knowing and being aware.
Present
aware
in your...
and present.
Right, and doing that non-judgmentally, so if I'm going to be mindful, I'm not going to say, oh, I'm feeling really tired right now. I'm such a loser. I didn't go to bed early enough. Like, that's not mindful. Like, that's judgment, right? So instead, I'm going to just notice what I'm feeling without the judgment so that I can be present with it. And then maybe ask myself compassionately, what do I need?
Whew.
Yeah, that's the kicker, right? Like mindfulness, it's not about like any kind of judgment or label attached to it. It's just noticing what is. It's very hard to do, and that's why it's a skill that we have to practice continuously.
And breathing is a real easy one for us to bring us back to ourselves and what's happening. Taking, a couple of deep breaths to sort of just
center ourselves.
Yeah. At that time, and then start becoming more mindful of what we're doing, where we're at, who's around us, what's around us, the smells, what we hear. Like Kimberly was saying, all the senses, using all the senses.
I'm a big fan of breathing, breathing exercises. I mean, I've been breathing my whole life, but I never understood the power of breath, I would say, until the past couple of years. Yeah. And it's quite amazing once you understand the power of your breath and how you can use it as a tool to calm down, to de-stress, to become more mindful, as we've just described. And I want to say, last night, when I was doing some work last night, it was just around 11:30, and I was going away, and I was just like, okay, Kathy, you can do this and that and the other. And I was like, okay, calm down. It's 11:30. You've done a lot. Like, why do you think you have to beat yesterday, for example? Because I think that's always just something that's put in us, make today better than the last day. And I just had to take a moment and sit with myself and be like, you've done enough. Why are you being hard on yourself? But that judgment on self, I think, is a real thing that most people go through.
Oh, absolutely.
And most people can relate to.
Mm-hmm. And I think, what you're describing there is you become aware of yourself.
Yes.
And I think awareness is really important because I feel that's sort of like the start of I've become aware and then trying to make sense of where it's come from, what's happening, and how do I calm myself.
I need to do that when my road rage is about to kick in because I'm telling you, no exercise is working for me then. No breathing exercise or anything. Okay, we got to go to the 8 a.m. news now. But when we come back from the 8 a.m. news, I want to go over what the what the program steps are like a day in the life of Caribbean Haven. We still got to talk about the anniversary celebrations that are happening and a whole lot more. So we'll be back with Caribbean Haven just after the 8 a.m. news.
Thank you, Kathy. And studio time now is 8 o'clock, brought to you with the kind compliments of Foster's.
When you're on the go, the experienced team at Foster's Pharmacy are here to help. Drop off your prescription while you shop or WhatsApp us and we'll prepare it, ready for your arrival.
Whether you need prescription or over-the-counter medications, blood glucose testing, or advice on vitamins and supplements, we're here early in the morning to late at night. Both of our locations at our Camana Bay and airport stores are open 7 a.m. to 9 p.m., Monday to Saturday.
For more info, visit fosters.ky/pharmacy. Foster's Pharmacy. Better health because we care.
If they are talking about us,
living in your head rent-free all this time,
we must be relevant. Radio Cayman since 1976.
For today's biggest news.
Radio Cayman, the voice of the Cayman Islands.
With your latest news, I'm Carsley Fuller. The 2026-27 budget sees an extra $600,000 annually for meteorological services, with a combined 2-year budget of nearly $6 million.
This budget includes $1.4 million for completion and fit out of the National Weather Service's new home, with an expected move-in date before June 2026, right in time for the next hurricane season.
Speaking to MPs and Finance Committee, Premier the Honorable Andre Ebanks added the budget also includes $200,000 to set up a centralized data integration platform.
Other focus areas include installing 4 new automatic weather observing stations, creating a network of storm surge sensors as part of our early warning system, launching a strategic partnership with the UK's Met Office to assess our current operations and develop a roadmap for the future, a greatly enhanced weather service website with improved user experience. And Mr. Chair, I have challenged the team to develop an app for easier access to the information, including views on the newly refurbished Kearney Gomez Doppler radar.
The Premier says as hurricane season draws to a close, the radar, which has reached the end of its lifespan, is being refurbished, with Leonardo, the company which originally installed it, winning the contract.
This project commences this weekend, and the radar will be offline for 6 weeks to provide the country with a much improved services, data, and accuracy. The new radar will cost approximately $622,000 and have an expected lifespan of 10 years.
MPs approved the Appropriations and Finance Committee on Monday. Meanwhile, the Infrastructure Ministry is planning to bring a new submarine cable modernization bill. Here's the Honorable J. Ebanks.
The submarine cable modernization project is coming to Parliament on the 10th of December and will deliver a new state-of-the-art fiber system strengthening the bandwidth and reliability and national resilience. This is not optional. It is an essential for financial service, the healthcare, education, aviation, and national security.
The 2026 plan and estimate says the legislation will empower government to enter into an agreement with a commercial partner to construct and operate a submarine cable connection and enhance the, quote, national resilience of critical ICT infrastructure. Finance Committee resumes today at 10 a.m., with MPs expected to consider the budget for the Office of the Commissioner of Police. Make sure to tune into our sister station, Breeze 105.3, to hear the proceedings live. And in other news, the Family Resource Center is hosting the 14th annual State of Boys and Men's Forum to mark International Men's Day tomorrow. Radio Cayman's April Cummings reports.
The event will take place from 9 a.m. to 11 a.m. at the Grand Cayman Marriott Resort. This year's global theme is Celebrating Men and Boys, bringing together community leaders, health professionals, and residents to discuss men's well-being and mental health. Organized by the Department of Counseling Services and the Family Resource Center, the forum addresses important health and social issues affecting men and boys in the islands. Residents can register by emailing frc@gov.ky or by calling 949-0006.
Now with a check of international news, here's the BBC, which takes us out of the newscast. I'm Carsley Fuller.
BBC News with Emily Thomas. The British security services have warned politicians that they face a significant risk of espionage from China. Members of Parliament have been told that Chinese state actors are relentless in trying to interfere and influence parliamentary processes. The CEO of Google has warned that no company would be immune if the current high valuation of AI tech firms turns out to be a bubble and bursts. Sundar Pichai told the BBC that the boom in artificial intelligence had irrational elements. Prosecutors in the Philippines have filed the first charges in a corruption scandal involving flood defence funds. Investigators discovered that hundreds of projects were paid for but never built. Police in southern India say they've killed one of the country's most wanted Maoist rebel leaders. They said Madhvi Hidma was killed along with at least 6 other rebels in Andhra Pradesh. Volodymyr Zelensky says he'll travel to Turkey in an effort to reinvigorate peace talks with Russia. The Ukrainian president's announcement came as Russian troops continue to make advances on the ground. BBC News with Emily Thomas.
Stay in touch with Radio Cayman with the latest up-to-date, accurate news and information. For your convenience, the headline news will be repeated on our sister station, Breeze 105.3 FM, weekdays at 8:30 a.m. Follow Radio Cayman on social media, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, or download the Radio Cayman app in the App Store or log on to www.radiocayman.gov.ky and stay connected to what's happening in the community. Radio Cayman, your voice, your choice, your radio.
Craving something bold, juicy, and packed with flavor? Introducing KFC's new crispy barbecue sandwich served on a soft, buttery brioche bun. That's 100% KFC premium chicken breast, perfectly crispy, deliciously smoky with crispy onions, cheddar cheese, and barbecue sauce. Just the right amount of messy in the best way possible. Stacked with layers of bold KFC flavor, this sandwich is your new obsession. But hurry, it's only at KFC for a limited time. So what are you waiting for? Get yours today at any of the 3 KFC locations on island. KFC, finger licking good, just got bolder.
The Passport and Corporate Services Office is urging the public to ensure all travel documents are valid and accessible in preparation for severe weather. Residents should check the validity of their passports, collect passports, waivers, and special marriage licenses from the office, and store important documents in waterproof containers. For more information, contact 345-649-7678 or email passportandcorporate@gov.ky.
The 8 a.m. weather update brought to you by CG Britcay, where people come first.
Good morning. Let's take a look at the very latest weather report. Synopsis indicate a surface low to the west of the Cayman Islands will support cloudiness and showers across the Cayman area over the next 24 hours. Light winds and slight seas are expected, gradually becoming moderate by tomorrow morning. Now, the forecast for the Cayman Islands for today, calling for partly cloudy to cloudy skies with a 40% chance of showers and possible thunder. Temperatures will rise to the mid-80s. Winds will be southeast at 5 to 10 knots, and seas will be slight with wave heights of 1 to 3 feet. Pretty much the same for tonight, partly cloudy to cloudy skies with a 40% chance of late night showers and possible thunder, and temperatures falling to the mid-70s tonight. Your winds will be southeast at 5 to 10 knots with higher gusts, and seas will be slight with wave heights of 1 to 3 feet. Today's high tide will occur this morning at 5 minutes after 9, low tide this afternoon at 4 minutes past 3, and a high tide again tonight at 7:57. The sun will set this evening at 5:45 and will rise tomorrow morning at 6:35. And the outlook is calling for a decrease in the chance of showers with moderate winds and seas through Wednesday into Thursday as the high-pressure system is expected to build over the southeast United States. And that's the very latest on your weather report.
Let's hear it for your Wildcat cheerleaders.
Aunt Angie, weren't you a cheerleader?
The best in the Western Hemisphere until I attempted that switch kick double twist roundhouse.
Huh?
Exactly. I must have been in the air for 20 seconds before I fell into that snare drum. I set a world record, though, and thankfully I could trust the CG Medical Portal with my claims. All 37 of them.
The CG Medical Portal. Safe and secure. CG Britcay. Good like that.
The 8 a.m. weather update brought to you by CG Britcay, where people come first.
This hurricane season, don't wait until the last minute. Store before the storm. Stock up now with at least 1 gallon of water per person per day for a 3-day supply. And don't forget pets, the elderly, and nursing mothers. You'll need water for drinking and daily needs. And rest easy knowing the Water Authority is working hard to protect our water systems, keeping pumps, pipelines, and storage secure so you'll have safe, reliable water when you need it most. Be prepared. Store before the storm.
The 7:20 a.m. Weather Report, Monday through Friday, is brought to you by Credit Union, on the road to 50 years of serving our members. Visit creditunion.ky to join today.
The traffic report is brought to you by Subway. Enjoy a delicious start to your day with breakfast from Subway.
Good morning. Let's check in with traffic, see what's slowing and what's flowing. Further up on Shamrock Road, traffic flowing at a moderate pace. Further down, a little different story, as traffic is bumper to bumper as you approach the Linford Pearson Highway as well. Slow moving traffic, looks like a crawler-thon out there on Cool Road, heading to Georgetown and heading east. Steady traffic as well. Coming off of Bobby Thompson Way, steady traffic continuing on to Huldah Avenue, and coming off of Agnes Way, traffic steady as well. From the West Bay 4-way stop, flowing pretty good, and as well as Owen Roberts Drive. So look to Godfrey Nixon Way and Eastern Avenue, flowing at a moderate pace in both directions. On the West Bay Road in front of the Ritz, traffic is moving at a good pace in both directions as well. And on Shedden Road, moderate flow of traffic. And that's what's happening on your roads. Join us again at about 10 minutes past 12. We'll give you another look at traffic. And a quick traffic reminder, stay alert while you're on the road. Never assume the other driver will stop at intersections. Safe roads keep Cayman moving forward. Join us again at about 10 minutes past 12 for another look at traffic.
Did you know ordering your favorite sandwich from Subway just got easier? Yeah, picture this. No more waiting in line. No more fussing with cash. Just a delicious taste of Subway at your fingertips. With our new app, ordering your go-to sub is as easy as a few taps on your phone. Plus, receive exclusive deals and earn loyalty points with every purchase made on the app. Download the new Subway app today and get ready to ditch the lines and drive straight into your flavor. Visit the App Store or Google Play Store on your mobile phone and search for Subway Cayman Islands. Subway. Eat fresh.
The traffic report is brought to you by Subway. Enjoy a delicious start to your day with breakfast from Subway.
The Buzz with your host, Kathy Miller.
I'm Michael Webster.
And I'm Denise Brown of Cayman Insurance Center.
Family is not the most important thing, it's everything.
We have worked with the community and their families on protecting themselves for the future.
Whether it's providing top-rated life insurance
or protecting your family's household investment.
From our family to yours, we understand and we care.
I'm Denise Brown. Call me at 814-7229.
And I'm Michael Webster at 925-5433.
We are Cayman Insurance Center,
specializing in property, life, and other lines of insurance products and services at an affordable rate. We are Michael and
Denise at Cayman Insurance Center.
Call today.
Quite involved. Welcome back to The Buzz. We have a new studio set up in here, so I missed my cue there. I can't even see Susan anymore, but it's just temporary. That's all right. So I am your host, Kathy Miller, and it's good to be back in Radio Cayman. It's good to be back in the Cayman Islands, I'll tell you that, because I was gone for a couple of weeks and I had to sleep in a hoodie for about 1 week of that. It was so cold in Canada, so it's good to be back here. And if you missed the beginning part of The Buzz, I was talking with Caribbean Haven, and I still have them on the show because we're talking about their 25th anniversary, which we still have to go into details about what their 25th anniversary involves. And we're talking about how we can also support recovery during the holiday season. We're going to get into that. But we were talking just now, or right before the 8 a.m. news, about what Caribbean Haven does, who the services are for, and what's a part of their service. So we had just touched on something called dialectical behavior therapy. And as Kim, who is the clinical supervisor for Caribbean Haven, and her colleague Jane Isaacs, who's the program coordinator, as they were describing with DBT, it kind of works, it has 3 theories within this therapy. And the first one is the dialectical part, if I got that right, which is something about opposites and how 2 things can be true at once. And I have to say, as an adult in my 40s, I've started learning that 2 things can be true at once, Kathy. So I feel like this is a common thing that people struggle with. At least I did, or somewhat still do at times. So the opposites part of the dialectical behavior therapy, 2 things can be true. Then there's the mindfulness aspect of it, and there's a third aspect or a theory that's part of this therapy.
Yes, so the third theory is the biosocial theory. So what that says is basically that some people have a little bit more sensitivity emotionally. And so when those people grow up in an environment where they experience a lot of invalidation, they become dysregulated. So now when I say in an environment of invalidation, that doesn't necessarily mean, just people who grew up in a dysfunctional environment. It could be people who grew up in a normal environment, but maybe they heard a lot of messaging growing up as kids like, big boys don't cry, or suck it up, buttercup, or like, I'll give you something to cry about. Like, these are things that people say, right? And it's not like that they're bad parents or like they're not well-meaning, but they can be very invalidating for someone who has that biological sensitivity to it. So those people grow up kind of not really knowing how to regulate their emotions because they heard messaging from a very young age that it's not okay to express feelings. And then they become dysregulated. So in DBT, we have to work on that then, on how do we regulate our emotions? How do we express them in healthy ways? How do we manage distress when it comes, where we're not just shutting down or, going off the rails, right? So those are skills then that we learn along with the mindfulness. So then that's kind of gets into our program modules, which we have 5. So one is mindfulness. Then we have our distress tolerance. So this is how do you cope with the stressors of every day, right? How do you tolerate disappointment and things like that. Emotion regulation, so managing your emotions. Interpersonal effectiveness, which is all about relationships and how do we interact with each other successfully and in healthy ways. And then we also have a 5th module, which isn't part of the traditional DBT, but that we adapted at Caribbean Haven for relapse prevention. So taking all of the DBT skills and then looking at them through the lens of addiction and how do we apply all those other things to recovery.
I feel like aside from the 5th step there, or the 5th program module, I feel like the first 4 is life training for everybody.
Absolutely.
That we all need to go through.
You're so right. Yeah.
Did you? Yeah, I see you nodding, Jane. So I wasn't sure if you wanted to add to that.
No, I'm fine.
All right. I think it's interesting, the DBT therapy, or that's what it is, DBT, right? That the T's part.
Or actually, I just wanted to touch on when Kimberly was talking about distress tolerance, or like someone dysregulated, what one person sees as a stressful situation may not necessarily be the view of someone else. So we do react differently,
right,
to situations, and the likes of someone being told that they're not good at something not necessarily is going to impact someone else. So the perspectives of individuals and how they view it and how they react to it is something to consider too.
And I think what was interesting is also saying having to kind of avoid certain emotions. I'll give you a reason to cry, that kind of thing. So you're almost teaching people in the household, mostly kids, this is not to cry, right? And they grow up with this fear of crying, or what could happen if they do. And I was listening to a podcast recently with Brene Brown. You know who Brene Brown is. I'm sure a lot of our listeners do, and I absolutely love her. I think she's an amazing person. And she said growing up in her household, the only acceptable feelings were anger and I think it was happiness. But that was it. There was no such thing as sadness. But anger was accepted. And if you were angry, that was okay. That was okay in the household. So she had learned to express everything either only through happiness or through anger. There was no other emotional I guess, briefcase to look at and say, hey, I'm feeling sad or anxious about something or overwhelmed. There was nothing else there. And that was interesting to me because it was an environment that shaped her and taught her how to deal with things, which, as we know of this woman today, she's a great psychologist. She she doesn't deal with things just in anger or happiness,
and it's
but
a
it's learning.
lifelong teaching, I think, you know, when you've been brought up to only know happiness or anger, you know, and being able to feel all those other emotions, because it's like hard to understand sometimes, you know, what that emotion actually is other than happiness or anger.
You've never been able to label it. Or understand
I heard
it.
that same podcast. Yeah. And it's and her experience is probably a lot of us could relate to it. Right. And when you don't have the language for what you're feeling, or you never were given the opportunity to be aware of it, you know, and that's kind of where the mindfulness comes in of like, well, let's notice what you're feeling and maybe give you some language to be able to say, oh, this is sadness, or this is fear, or whatever, or anxiety, or whatever else it is. So people start kind of building their emotional repertoire, and then they can learn this, like then from there go and learn the skills to say, well, how do I contain the expression of this so that it's safe for me and everyone around me?
Right. It's so interesting. And we could go so much deeper into that. We can. But we've got to move on because we haven't spoke about anything that you're doing with the 25th anniversary, right? So let's touch on that. 25 years. What does this mean for you guys? What are you trying to hit for your 25th anniversary?
Well, I think at this stage, you know, I've noticed, I've been with the department for 10 years, and I've noticed that there are still a lot of people in our community who don't really know what we do. So I think moving forward, you know, as we hit this milestone, we want to just make sure everyone is aware of the services that we offer, maybe try to get even more involvement from our community. One thing that Jane is working on with us is trying to bring some cultural initiatives in, you know, so we can kind of make sure we don't lose those ties to the Cayman culture, and that we can incorporate that into our program, and then also look at what other needs the community has that aren't being addressed right now, that Caribbean Haven might be able to fill gaps in, like adolescent care, for example, you know, things like that. So we've got a lot of ideas and a lot of vision for the future, and I think this milestone is going to be an opportunity for us to review and look ahead and see how we can continue to best serve the community.
Jane, can you touch on the cultural aspect that Kim had mentioned?
Yeah, sure. So cultural identity and reconnection with culture is really important to me as an individual. And so what I would like to see in our program is reconnecting or just making it part of our normal daily living at Caribbean Haven. What are the traditions of Cayman Island, and incorporating them into the program, reconnecting people, because often when individuals or people go through, you know, addiction, as Kimberly mentioned before, there's a disconnection with self often, and I think it's really important to reconnect someone to their culture, to start their grounding of who they are, where they're from, you know, what their traditions were, reminding them of that they're important to Cayman Island. So I'd really like to see some of those cultural traditions brought into our program for those who are entering Caribbean Haven. Not just for our clients, but also our staff who may be disconnected as well, but also for myself as an expat and learning about the culture, which for me, I think everyone's culture is important.
Absolutely. Yeah. We learn so much from each other and one another's cultures. Absolutely.
Yeah, and being respectful of each other.
Yes.
No matter who you are, where you're from. So
right.
That's what I'd like to.
Employing some cultural intelligence.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Absolutely.
And I can understand that because, as you mentioned, the disconnection happens with addicts.
Yeah.
And to be able to kind of draw them back to themselves and understand who they are, it's an important part of recovery, right?
Yes.
But that's just a lot of people just feel disconnected, period. So I like the fact that I'd like to see how you're going to bring in some cultural elements into the programming, but I like that because it is it is so much of your identity, right? That culture is so much a part of your identity, and some people fall off that.
There is a theory, Professor Mason Jury, who's very much prominent in New Zealand around culture and cultural identity. Yeah, and he sort of talks about when one loses themselves, they lose their culture. And it's really important for well-being of someone is to reconnect them to culture. So that's a real driver for me, hearing that sort of through my life, because I'm very connected to my own culture, and who I am.
Awesome. All right. Well, so we'll see how that program's going to develop.
Yeah,
we're
I'm
bringing
excited about it.
Some cultural aspects in.
So I will be sort of trying to connect to some of those services in the community around cultural connection.
Okay, excellent. So if we're looking back on the 25 years, is there a particular achievement or a turning point that stands out as transformational for the organization? Or at least on your 10 years of being there?
Well, I think every time we adapt our treatment model to make sure we're using whatever the best practices are, I think that's a turning point. So that happened around 2006. I think we had a shift, and then again in 2022 when we introduced DBT, and so I think those were big milestones where we're responding to what the need is of the clients we serve. And then our other big milestone just this year in September was becoming a smoke-free facility. So, and that was a long time sort of in the works, where our goal is to just, again, if we're taking this whole person approach, we have to look at the whole person's health, and trying to help them see what the links are between use of tobacco and nicotine products, and other addictions. It has been a huge milestone, and it's not easy because now people are coming into treatment and they're having to kind of give everything up at once. But it's the evidence all kind of points to, the reality that will give them a better long-term outcome. And it's just like from a health perspective, it's been so wonderful for especially our staff, who most of whom are not smokers. So we don't have to come to work in a cloud of smoke every day. And it's healthier for us. It's healthier for the clients. And we're so excited that we were able to kind of bring that into our program.
Okay. So is outside the facility is going to be smoke free?
Well, the whole facility is now a smoke-free facility. So there's no smoking at all on the property.
Okay.
Yeah.
But was it previously allowed inside?
Well, not in the buildings,
Okay.
but
right.
just to be clear, not inside the buildings, but people could smoke, in designated areas, and we've removed that element of the program.
Okay.
So there's no tobacco or nicotine use.
Well, that's a big step. Yeah,
it is. It's a great step for public health.
It's very positive because a lot of facilities, even like HSA,
they had already taken that
smoke
step,
free.
right?
So it's. Yeah.
So we want to follow that best practice too and make sure we're keeping everyone as healthy as possible.
Yeah. And I can understand it because tobacco is very addictive. Mm-hmm. So if you're trying to, I guess, uproot somebody from that addiction, their addiction habits, you kind of got to go full throttle with it. I mean, absolutely. I'm no therapist and no expert in it, but I would think that, at least for me, that's what works. I got to get rid of everything if I'm trying to make a change and not slide into not let one little bad habit dominate, because it'll be a domino effect. That's right. At least for me, that's how I operate. Okay, well, I know that you're launching a Hope Garden, the National Tree Planting Program, yes?
Yes, yep. So we've been speaking with our partners in sustainability, which is within our same ministry. And our hope is that we're going to be able to plant 25 trees to commemorate our anniversary. And because we're trying to look at bringing in the local culture, we're hoping that they're going to be native trees, right? So, we can have that native flora on our property. And it's just, I think there's something so symbolic about planting, and growth, especially for the work our clients are doing, that those trees can be symbols of what happens when you nurture something, and that it takes time, right? It's not going to bear fruit right away, but if you take care of it and nurture it, eventually it will.
And it's not to be, not to have a bit of a double entendre here, but it is nurturing, right? But you're growing something, and you're grounded while you're doing this. So it's using your hands, it's feeling the earth, and there's this whole, I guess, other theory with grounding in just that connectivity with nature. Walking barefoot on the grass, or hopefully you're walking barefoot on the sand, but something like that, just kind of connecting like
to the ground and the earth.
Yeah.
So it'll be a beautiful project for our clients and staff to be involved in, and that we'll be able to enjoy for years, another 25 years or more, right?
Yeah, I think it's a great idea. We've had some different tree planting initiatives within government here. So, and I know Radio Cayman was a part of one of the tree planting initiatives, and it just felt good to be out there and be a part of that. So, yeah, I can see it's an upful thing. I think it's a good idea. Do you have any other plans for the 25th anniversary?
Well, we've been working with some local businesses to try to have some wellness opportunities for the staff and clients, again, just to commemorate the anniversary, but also just to support their wellness. And so Himalaya has generously agreed to donate some wellness packages for our staff and clients, and those will be coming soon.
That's awesome.
Yeah. So, because and that's the thing, we want to do everything sort of with intention, right? Say, as we're commemorating this, we're doing it in a way where we're looking after each other. So we're very grateful to Himalaya for their support there.
All right, we got to take a quick commercial break. When we come back, we're going to get into a little bit more about the programs at Caribbean Haven. We're going to talk about how to support addicts or people in recovery during the holiday season. We got to touch on that for sure.
Tune in every Monday through Friday at 12 p.m. for Radio Cayman's Midday Newscast. Radio Cayman, the People's Station, your trusted official source for the latest news. The 12 p.m. news is proudly brought to you by Health City Cayman Islands. World-class healthcare within your reach.
This holiday season, let Kirk Market do the roasting so you can do the hosting. Visit in-store or shop online and order your traditional family feast, complete with classic roasted turkey and ham, all the tasty sides and trimmings. Let the chefs at Kirk Market be your holiday helpers so you can spend less time in the kitchen. Order online at kirkmarket.ky or visit in-store today. And don't forget to visit the florist at Kirk Market to find the perfect centerpiece for your table. There's no place like Kirk Market for the holidays.
The Family Resource Center, FRC, is excited to announce the 14th Annual International Men's Day IMD celebration in the Cayman Islands. This year's global theme, Celebrating Men and Boys, aligns with our vision to promote a healthy, hopeful, and resilient population, promoting initiatives to support men and boys in our community. We invite you to engage in our many events, including our 6th Annual Men and Boys Basketball Tournament, Saturday, November 1st, the 4th Annual State of Men and Boys Forum on November 19th, the Men and Boys Domino Tournament in partnership with Boys to Men, and learn more about our male mentorship drive throughout the month, and in partnership with 1-to-1 Young Gentlemen's Club and Boys to Men with a final celebratory event on November 29th. Follow us on social media to learn more or email frc@gov.ky today.
The Buzz with your host, Kathy Miller.
Welcome back to The Buzz. I'm your host, Kathy Miller, and I am talking with Caribbean Haven. I have Kim Febres. She's the clinical supervisor, and Jane Isaacs, program coordinator at Caribbean Haven. And we were talking just now about their 25th year anniversary and what some of their anniversary plans are. And Kim mentioned a little bit about it. And so we've talked about that. And now looking forward to the future. So you've mentioned plans to redevelop and expand some services moving forward. What changes or improvements can the public expect in the next few coming years, I would say?
Well, our building is quite old. so we're hoping to do some renovations to just kind of make sure it's kind of up in good repair. So that's sort of the first priority.
We understand what that's like. Yeah. That's great.
Yeah, because we inherited it when we opened in 25 years ago. It was already maybe 30 or 40 years old. So yeah, so it is an aging property. So we're contending with that. And we also want to be able to make some changes to better suit the needs of the clients. So like right now, clients are all in shared rooms. We would love to be able to expand where we can have buildings where they have private rooms, which is just going to support, their dignity and their experience a bit better. We don't have any transitional housing programs for women. So that's another thing that we want to look at, having a program or a facility where women who have finished the program can start transitioning back to the community and maybe stay safely while they're starting to work and things like that. So that's another thing on our list. And we're also looking about, what we can do for our adolescents. There are no residential services for substance use for adolescents in the Cayman Islands right now. So those individuals have to be sent overseas. So that would also be a priority for us in the coming years.
And that's kind of a big problem in Cayman with adolescents.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
It's interesting that they have to be sent overseas. I didn't realize that.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's a huge focus area that we need to collectively zoom in on for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, that's a big one. So I hope you get the support you need for that.
So yeah,
to make that happen. Oh, okay. So that's some good plans. It's a lot of plans for the next few years, but needed. So some refurbishment, we need that. And again, I really hope you can get some adolescent treatment programs happening.
Yeah. And even some more treatment spaces, right? Because right now, we've talked about the components of our program incorporating both groups and individual sessions, and we don't really have adequate space in our current facility to have enough individual treatment rooms. So that will also be something we'll look at if we can expand some of our spaces to include just safe spaces for therapy where people feel like they can come in and they're not right next to an office where they're worried they're going to be overheard, or they deserve that safety and that confidentiality.
I agree with you 100%. And I think that's another common issue is those safe spaces when dealing with treatments. We know that with mental health. So when it comes to substance use, I think people should be dignified in that same, that same treatment, having their own kind of safe space.
Because often too, there's a lot of shame that comes with it. So being able to have safety, space, privacy, confidentiality is really important.
It is.
Yeah.
I know I need my own space as an adult. Never mind having to work closely to other people or live in a small space with somebody else. I think that can be challenging, right? We all need our own time to ourselves, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Now we know that you do have a lot of community partnerships, and you've mentioned a couple of them. But when it comes to the other agencies that you work with, the Ministry of Health, the National Drug Council, can you tell us about the partnerships and how it helps with your programs and the treatments that you offer?
Mm-hmm. Well, it's I guess on a basic level, there's referral sources, right? But we also rely on each other for continuum of care. So when we started the conversation and we talked about some of the systemic issues, that's where the community partnerships are really important, because after they leave our service, they may need help from DCFS or DFA, Department of Financial Assistance. We work very closely with them to help our clients get reintegrated into the community and even to get basic things like health insurance if they don't have it. If they're involved with the legal system, then our partners at Department of Community Rehabilitation will be overseeing them and kind of monitoring them after they leave. And then and you mentioned NDC and the data they collect, that's just invaluable for helping us to make decisions about what kind of treatment is needed on the island and where people are struggling and how we can help.
And I was thinking about the National Drug Council and their surveys when you touched on the adolescent drug use problem, for example. So
right.
I was thinking exactly of their surveys.
Right, yeah, because it's giving us that information, right? To say, well, yes, this is a problem and we need to respond to it.
Absolutely. Because we can have all the data in the world, but if we're not doing anything about the data that we have concerning the Cayman Islands, what does it matter how many surveys we do and how much research is done? We have to be actionable about the information that we get, for sure. Okay, so this is why I'm gung-ho for you getting those adolescent treatment programs. I think that would be a great thing. All right, now we're going to talk about going into the holidays and understanding how we can better support people in recovery. Now, we often hear that addiction is not just an individual challenge, right, but a community one as well. And we have attitudes of people within the Cayman community that didn't really understand addiction, but now, there's a little bit more understanding, a little bit more awareness of it. How have attitudes have you seen change when it comes to addiction and recovery?
I think we are trying to shift away from seeing it as sort of a moral failure or something that someone has done wrong and that's why they're in this position. So we are trying to see that shift where it's being seen more as a mental health issue, a medical issue, right? Where that people need treatment for. So that's the way we're trying to kind of shift the narrative. And also that it's not that only people from a certain socioeconomic background, are susceptible to it. That anyone from any background or any walk of life could potentially develop a substance dependence or an addiction. So also just raising the awareness that is the reality that we're faced with.
Absolutely. Mm-hmm. Is there any misconceptions about treatment or residential recovery that you would like to clear up?
Well, I mean, I think, I think we want people to see the humanity in our clients, right? And not just think, oh, they're addicts or they're screw ups. Or like, it's the more we dehumanize them, like the more we're not going to be able to see the value of their contribution to our communities and the importance of the treatment that's being offered to help them kind of rebuild their lives. So I think kind of humanizing our population is important. Like these are members of your community. These are your family members, your friends, your loved ones, like they deserve a lot of care and compassion, and they're going through something really difficult. So I think that's one thing we would just want people to think about our clients from a loving and compassionate sort of perspective rather than judgment or I don't know. What word am I looking for?
I guess the two words that come to mind for me is understanding and non-judgmental.
Yeah.
Because it does, it impacts someone who is going through addiction around not having understanding from family members or partners or the community and being judged, and that's one of the connections towards shame because, when someone's been judged or misunderstood, it comes with a lot of shame around who they are and, having an idea of, well, this is my life, I'm going to continue. So thinking about getting support or treatment can be very hard when you're being judged or misunderstood. I mean, and that's in general, if we think of ourselves when we're misunderstood or judged, what's our reaction? But for someone who's an addict and, the stigma that comes with it, it's far worse. So I think over the Christmas or over the break, the holidays, having some understanding and being non-judgmental would be beneficial for anyone going through addiction.
I think it's hard for me and very human of me to say that I'm absolutely judgmental.
Yeah. And who can't be? I think we go through times of that.
How do I become more human in that sense? How do I have more compassion and non-judgment for addicts? And I say this because I reflect to the ones that might be impacting my life, right? So when I think of, okay, you could be an addict and you could be now involved in certain criminal behavior, right? And it's like the car break-ins, the constant, that kind of stuff, looking for petty change to whatever, if it's to get food. Most of us don't think it's to get food. Most of us think it's you want the petty changed for drugs, right?
Yeah.
So even me as a human, it's so hard to take that judgment away because you're like, oh, this person just broke into my car again, you addict, and you might say some words, and it's a very real reality.
Yeah, you're so right. And
absolutely.
And it's not that people shouldn't be held accountable for choices they make.
Right.
And so here's the dialectic, right?
Okay.
At the same time, we can also say, well, people are doing what they need to do to survive. So we have this dialectical assumption in treatment that people are doing the best they can and they can do better. So that's how we stay out of judgment, by trying to figure out the underlying causes of behavior and then deal with that rather than just blaming. Right.
I like that, Kim.
Yeah.
I think I'm going to use it on my daily everything. People are doing
the best
they can.
And they can do better.
And they can do better. Two things can be true.
Mm-hmm.
I think the other thing to remember is for an individual, it might take them 5-10 times to approach treatment, or to get treatment, and that 10th time might be the time where they break away from that. What's been holding them to the addiction.
Mm-hmm. That's true.
So, that's also part of the understanding that and being non-judgmental.
That's true. In the words of Aaliyah, if you at first you don't succeed, dust yourself off and try again and again and again.
Yes.
We've got to go to a quick commercial break right now. When we come back, we're going to talk about recovery during the holidays, which we've just started talking about. Quick commercial break.
Tired of burning cash at the gas pump and wasting time in traffic? Say goodbye to gridlock and hello to freedom with a Kimco scooter from Automotive Art. Trusted in over 100 countries, Kimco is now known worldwide for reliable, fuel-efficient scooters built to last. Perfect for Cayman's roads. With 2 models to choose from, the Agility 125cc for just $23.99 and the Agility RS Naked 125cc for $24.99. It's the smart, budget-friendly way to beat traffic and cut costs. Visit Automotive Art today and ride smarter with Kimco, because saving money should never mean slowing down.
This holiday season, let Kirk Market do the roasting so you can do the hosting. Visit in-store or shop online and order your traditional family feast, complete with classic roasted turkey and ham, all the tasty sides and trimmings. Let the chefs at Kirk Market be your holiday helpers so you can spend less time in the kitchen. Order online at kirkmarket.ky or visit in store today. And don't forget to visit the florist at Kirk Market to find the perfect centerpiece for your table. There's no place like Kirk Market for the holidays.
Parents, if you're navigating the world of boarding schools, it can feel overwhelming. Dorm and Day are here to help. You don't have to do it alone. Whether your child is reaching for new academic challenges, looking to shine as a competitive athlete, or simply searching for the school that brings out their best, Dorm and Day are your trusted educational experts located right here in Georgetown. For 10 years, Dorm and Day have helped families just like yours to find the best fit schools with one-on-one support every step of the way. So why stress when you can have an experienced partner by your side? Visit dormandday.ky or call 936-3676 today. Dorm and Day, celebrating 10 years of opening doors to brighter futures.
Your mornings just got a whole lot buzzier. Join me, Kathy Miller, every Tuesday and Thursday from 7:30 to 9:30 a.m. on The Buzz, Radio Cayman's morning talk show with insight, impact, and inspiration, covering business, policy, finance, health, culture, and the biggest local and global issues impacting our Cayman community. With fresh perspectives from younger generations to stories of inspiration from local entrepreneurs. Tune in and turn up Tuesday and Thursday mornings, 7:30 to 9:30 with me, Kathy Miller, on The Buzz. The Buzz.
The Buzz with your host, Kathy Miller.
All right, welcome back to The Buzz. I'm your host, Kathy Miller, and I'm talking with some representatives from Caribbean Haven. It is their 25th year anniversary, and on this part of the show, we're talking about recovery during the holidays and how you can support somebody that is going through recovery. And in studio with me, I have Kim Febres, Clinical Supervisor, and Jane Isaacs, Program Coordinator from Caribbean Haven. So going into the holiday season, why is this time especially a hard or a difficult one for people experiencing addiction or early recovery?
It's just, especially alcohol use is really just normalized over the holiday season. You know, it's part of the celebrations, right? And I think we have to remember that. Well, we talked earlier about a lot of people use to kind of numb themselves from painful emotions, but a lot of people use to celebrate.
Yes.
You know, and to keep happy feelings going, right? So that's why the risk is so high now, because the ability to do that is just normalized. It's part of the holiday spirit, you know?
Right. It is. It is a time of both. And I think I'm somebody who has stopped alcohol. I think it's 5 years I haven't drank. I keep getting the date. It might be 5 or 6 years. I should know. Clearly, I guess it wasn't a hard thing for me, thankfully. I just stopped. And I can definitely say that it's very annoying when people very much know that I do not drink anymore, and it's New Year's or something like that, and it's, but it's New Year's, just the glass of champagne. It's celebratory. Everybody's doing it. Or even cultural things within my family's, like Serbian culture. It'll be like a little shot of rakia, which if anybody's had that, they know they probably don't want to have it again. But that's and that's all ages, is having a little bit of this, and it's no matter what, you have some. And I'm like, well, so that's a cultural influence. So it can be a really hard time to have to battle all those people that are trying to encourage you to partake in those kind of festivities, right?
Yeah. So I think having the conversations ahead of time can be helpful. Maybe setting the boundaries with, the people who are closest to you, especially if it's family, loved ones, your closest friends, to just let them know, like, you really want to be a part of the holiday celebrations, and it would help you, if you're not offered, right? Like, I want to attend, and make it about the people, make the gathering about the people and the connection, and not about the food or the drink, right?
Right. And the food is another one, because there's a lot of foods that people will cook with alcohol. And is that, so in considering that, is that something that when you're talking to the people in recovery throughout Caribbean Haven, is that something that you're also reminding them of, that, hey, alcohol is not just present in the drinks, but it could also be in different foods?
Yeah, and that could be triggering, because it's the smell of it, the taste of it, even if they're not going to get the same effect from it if it's cooked off, but just all of the other sensory experience of it.
All
triggering.
triggering.
Stuff also like Christmas cake or rum cake, and being mindful of those sorts of things.
Yes, a rum cake especially here. We have a caller, actually, so this is the first time testing out the phone lines in our new-ish studio right now, so hopefully everything's in great working order. Good morning. Thank you for calling the Buzz.
Good morning, Kathy.
How are you doing today?
I'm doing fine. I'm remembrance from the past. I'm really impressed with Caribbean Haven and the amount of work that has been done over 25 years.
Thank you.
I was one of the founding members of Cayman Against Substance Abuse in the 80s. So I'm just listening and saying that, I cannot believe it's 25 years. But to encourage the staff there. But I want to, I listened to a program a couple of weeks ago. It was Tara Bush's program.
Okay.
And she had on a counselor with a gentleman that had experienced addiction and recovered. And I would like to impress on them the importance of having these people share their experiences, because I was sitting in my car, I was driving, and I heard that program, and I was so impressed. I said, this is more of what's needed. And over the years, I've always been interested in seeing where we're going, but I think that we've made some excellent strides in dealing with these problems. And I want to congratulate the staff there and thank them for all that they're doing, and trust that they will celebrate in a way that won't affect anybody negatively. But to encourage the Caribbean Haven staff, they're doing an excellent job, and I thank them. And I thank you for your program, because I listen quite often, and it's very interesting the majority of times. Congrats on your performance, and you all have a nice day. And I'm sure that a lot of the people in Caribbean Haven will perhaps remember me, but I'm getting there now, and still interested in trying to save our people. Thanks
thank
for
you.
listening.
Thank you. That's so kind.
All right. Thank you for your call, and for the very, very kind words for the guests and me as well. It's very much appreciated. And it's amazing that you say you were part of something over 25 years ago in the 80s, that you started against substance abuse in the Cayman Islands. and it's still something that you very much advocate for. So
and I still look back on it, and I say, when I see the young people that came through summer programs, and I think that the Drug Council is doing a program for youth, which was one of the best programs that we as an organization were successful in, and that, we will continue to strive to improve the lives of all of those persons who live here, and especially our young people. Thanks for listening, though, and have a good day here.
You too. Thank you. Thank you for listening. And noted on, we want that you as a listener want to have some people share their stories, their recovery stories. 100% agree. And I know we did try to do that for this segment this morning. And in September, when Kim was on with me previously, we did have somebody that had gone through the Caribbean Haven program, and he came to share his story. And I think it was just a half-hour segment, and we barely started. And boy, I can tell you, I was already in tears during that program. But I really want to have him back, actually, and hear more from him. And I completely agreed, because for me, that is hugely the connection part, is really hearing people's stories and how they've persevered and overcome. We can all learn from each other, right? And see that it's possible. So agree with you on that point. We only have a couple minutes left, so I want to go back to some of the questions here, unless you ladies wanted to make another note about the call.
No.
Okay. Wasn't sure. I didn't mean to take it away from you if so. Okay, so we know that globally there's about 150% spike in relapse during the holidays. What unique factors might apply here in the Cayman Islands, or just in the Caribbean in general, that might make the holiday season either more risky or might make it easier for us even?
I think the risk just is in the prevalence of the availability of alcohol, and, like we were saying, how normalized it is. So that's the risk. But I think the protective factor is just in family. Family is so important to the Cayman community and culture. And so I think families can take this opportunity to look out for each other, and sort of respect each other's boundaries when it comes to alcohol use, and other substance use around the holidays.
That's key. Respect the boundaries.
Yep.
Because while, you would think families are that biggest kind of support network, but they can also be your biggest enablers at the same time, right? So establishing the boundaries,
right,
and the family respecting the boundaries, I think is a key thing there. Okay, so in terms of an addict or somebody in recovery, and they need to gauge how they're doing during the holidays, I guess, measure their success. What realistic markers should somebody in recovery aim for during this holiday season?
Do you want me to take that? Or yeah, I mean, I guess it's just, aim for progress, not perfection, right? If you have a lapse, it's part of the journey. To try not to beat yourself up about it. Be compassionate. Ask yourself what you need. In a situation, if you are feeling stressed at all, take that opportunity to show yourself some loving kindness and compassion, and make that the priority. Just kind of, taking care of yourself.
I think also just remembering the small steps you do take. I think sometimes we forget to acknowledge, little steps we take. So it's just reminding ourselves of that. The other thing, I think, if you feel very vulnerable in a situation, like to remove yourself. Even though it might be a family gathering, and that it might mean rather than staying for 2 hours, you're going to stay for half an hour. If it's, too hard to resist what's happening within that environment at the time. Yeah.
Are there any signs that families or friends should look out for when they might be entertaining or hosting somebody that's going through recovery during the holiday season?
I think any sort of changes in behavior, someone either becoming more withdrawn than they usually are or more gregarious than they usually are, so just looking for anything that seems out of the norm, and not being afraid to just check in. Say, is this okay for you? How is this going? Can I support you in some way?
Don't be afraid to ask questions.
Right.
I think that can be one of the barriers within families is not knowing whether to ask the questions. But I guess you don't know what you don't know unless you ask.
Or being scared. Is there a fear from family members? Or, kind of walking on eggshells? Am I going to trigger a person?
Yeah. And I think the other important thing is making sure families have non-alcoholic drinks available.
Oh, yes. Families and establishments, please.
Yeah.
I'm seeing a lot more of that happen, actually.
Yeah.
So I agree with you, because I love some sorrel, but man, I can't have it if you're going to put any rum in it. That's for sure. Okay. So many people are afraid of reaching out during the holidays because they think that seeking help is a sign of weakness. And holidays can be a really emotional time, right? It can be a really happy time for people, and it can be a time of grief for people. So for somebody that is listening right now that might be a recovering addict or a substance user, and they know that the holidays are a hard time for them, is there any kind of words that you could say to them that are hesitant to take that first step, but they need to take it?
Just don't wait until a problem becomes so overwhelming, that you feel lost and you're not sure what to do. It's always better if you feel like something's a problem, it probably is. So it's always better to just take that moment and take the step, rather than waiting for something to change. Because the reality is it's not going to change. If you do nothing about a problem, it's just going to get worse. Where if you take action sooner rather than later, then, we can intervene and we can help you.
Gotcha. We got a wrap. It's 9. I didn't think it was going to hit 9 a.m. already. I thought I had 3 more minutes. But my timing isn't the best, per se. Any last words you want to leave with our listeners this morning?
Yeah, just, call us. Our number is 947-9992 if you have questions, or visit our website, chrc.gov.ky. We've got a lot of great information on there.
Okay, well, wonderful. And some info about the 25th anniversary. If people want to partake in anything, they can also check out the site.
Yes.
Awesome. All right. Thank you, ladies, for joining me this morning.
Thank you so much.
I know we're going to work on getting some more recovery stories in here in the new year. Hopefully we'll have that. And I'm wishing you guys a great holiday season as it's approaching. As well. All right. We're going to go to the 9 a.m. headline news. And then I got a AI chat. This is my topic, AI. So we're going to be covering that just after the headline news.
From Radio Cayman's newsroom, this is Headlines. Local, regional, international news.
The headline news is brought to you by Kirk Market and Health Services Authority.
Finance Committee is scheduled to resume today at 10 a.m. MPs are expected to consider the budgets for the Office of the Commissioner of Police, Parliament, the Ministry of Caymanian Employment and Immigration, and the portfolio of the Civil Service. Make sure to tune into our sister station, Breeze 105.3 FM, to hear the proceedings live. In international news, the U.S. will sell F-35 fighter jets to Saudi Arabia, according to U.S. President Donald Trump, who spoke with reporters ahead of a White House meeting with the Saudi Crown Prince, Mohammed bin Salman. The leaders are expected to discuss deals on defense and civilian nuclear power during today's White House visit, the first by the de facto Saudi leader since journalist Jamal Khashoggi was killed and dismembered at the hands of Saudi agents 7 years ago. A U.S. intelligence assessment said Prince Mohammed approved the operation that led to the killing. The Crown Prince has denied any role in the murder. And the head of Google's parent firm Alphabet has told the BBC every company will be affected if the AI bubble is to burst. Speaking exclusively to BBC News, Sundar Pichai said that while the growth of artificial intelligence investment has been, quote, extraordinary, there is some, quote, irrationality to the current AI boom. It comes amid fears in Silicon Valley and beyond of a bubble as the value of AI tech companies has soared in recent months and companies spend big on the burgeoning industry. Those are your headlines. I'm Karsley Fuller.
More news available at www.radiocayman.gov.ky. Check out our social media pages: Facebook, YouTube, X, formerly Twitter, Radio Cayman Headline News.
At HSA, we strive to provide the highest standard of care with compassion, integrity, and dedication. And so we say thank you, Cayman, for continuing to make us the most awarded organization on island by voting us the best of Cayman Islands in 9 medical categories. Your support reminds us why we do what we do, to serve the Cayman community with kindness and excellence. To find out more about our award-winning services, visit hsa.ky. At HSA, we are committed to caring for you.
This holiday season, let Kirk Market do the roasting so you can do the hosting. Visit in-store or shop online and order your traditional family feast, complete with classic roasted turkey and ham, all the tasty sides and trimmings. Let the chefs at Kirk Market be your holiday helpers so you can spend less time in the kitchen. Order online at kirkmarket.ky or visit in store today. And don't forget to visit the florist at Kirk Market to find the perfect centerpiece for your table. There's no place like Kirk Market for the holidays.
The Buzz with your host, Kathy Miller.
Good morning. Welcome back to The Buzz. I'm your host, Kathy Miller, and we are in our last half hour of the show. We are now talking about the Women in AI Fireside Chat. Now, I know all about this because my colleague, Anita Khan, went to the first one and absolutely was raving about it. So glad to hear about it. Glad to hear that she had a great experience, and I'm glad to hear a little bit more about what exactly the Women in AI Fireside Chat was, because although all the guests have heard me speak about AI over the past, I would say 5 months, I have a lot of AI talks. It's a way that we're going, and I want to have everybody familiar with it. I missed the Women in AI Fireside Chat. So to have in studio right now is a great thing for me. I have Lissette, Anez from Story Studio, and Jennifer McCarthy from Tech Cayman, and we're here to talk about the Women in AI Fireside Chat. Good morning, ladies.
Good morning.
How are you doing?
All is well. Thank you for having us.
Excellent. It's good to have you. And so since you're already famous and well-known, Jen, I don't I don't have to do a more in-depth intro there, but yes, tell me how the first one went. I know that it was an overwhelming response of people, that you had to make a little bit more room for the ladies to come in. Was it just for ladies? Did we have a few men in there as well?
We did have some men attending. I mean, we don't only do this for women. Right. I mean, all males are welcome to come. But yeah, last session we have 5 males only, and they were, of course, the center of attention. But yeah, we ended up having a sold out in 2 hours after we opened the invites.
2 hours?
Yeah,
That's huge.
It was huge. Yeah.
Yeah.
And yeah, it was very overwhelming. We did not expect that would be.
We didn't anticipate that reaction. It was like kind of, let's try this thing and see. And to have more people on a wait list within a day than we had space, like we were so far over capacity, which led to, we should probably do this again, but let's use a bigger venue. So we're in the cinema this time.
Yes.
And I will start by saying we have 30 seats left, and we're in one of the main cinemas. So
wow.
It's just a clear indication of the need and interest in the community at the community level. And that, I think, was the driving force behind this, is for those of us working around the tech community or in the tech community, these conversations are happening all the time in a practical, but also, kind of in a philosophical way. But bringing it to the community for non-tech people and just practical AI adoption conversations and giving people the platform to ask questions that they're not comfortable asking necessarily. This format, it worked really well. It's working very well.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
It is awesome. It really is.
And there is also something very curious about Cayman, which is when you go around the world, you go to San Francisco, to Amsterdam, and these conferences is dominated by male. Most AI engineers are male, and the conversations are just happening between them. But when you come to Cayman and you actually start talking to people, women are the ones who are actually leading this movement inside small businesses, inside schools, in their own houses. As Anita was pretty much saying last time I saw her, she jumped into it as soon as she got a few training and, her hands on it. So I think it's something that we want to highlight here in Cayman, that it seems like the female community is very into it, very curious about it. And I think they are doing the brave thing, which is taking steps forward, right? Because that's the hard part of it. We can have conversations and we can have discuss about the yes and no's. And we can all be so excited or so afraid of it, which all is normal. But taking that first step, it seems that females in Cayman are the one who are leading that. And that's something we want to celebrate.
I'd have to agree, because when I think about who I say is Cayman's AI experts, I like to give that title to Tamsin Deasy Weinstein. Or is it Weinstein? I always get the last name wrong. Sorry, Tamsin. But to me, she is our Cayman's kind of leading AI expert per se. And you see her on all sorts of panels and just giving different presentations on AI. And I know she's part of that government AI
task force.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't think task force. We have to use a different phrase. I don't know what's going. Task force just it sounds so militant. You know what I mean? And Christina Spratt is another lady in AI here that I think about when we're talking about Cayman and then the AI community. So completely agree with you, Lissette. There's definitely some very intelligent women that are diving into AI and helping kind of lead the AI revolution in Cayman. So
we've been very grateful that Christina joined us on the first session, and she walked us through all the safety protocols and the recommendations on how to approach AI safely. And now we have the privilege to have Tamzin with us this time.
Awesome.
And she's gonna share with us how is it happening in education. So, in fact, in the past 3 weeks, less than a month, I've been invited to attend 3 school presentations.
Oh, awesome!
Because teachers and principals and parents and students itself, they're like all curious about it. So I think bringing this down not only to these events, which we love to do, but also bring them down to conversations, small conversations within the education community is very important. And Tamzin has been, a leader in this, especially at the university. The University College has a training for AI workforce readiness. And I think that's the way to do it,
I agree.
I think, too, that, both Lisa and I are wearing 2 hats for all of this. So one is being in and around the space and seeing, the conversations within the tech community, but also just as moms. So we know our kids are and will be continuing to use AI. So just having some basic parenting tools, we all went through a lot of, I guess we still go through it, but around social media and how do our kids engage on this and is it safe and, chatting on Fortnite or whatever it is that our kids do. So being able to kind of gather some confidence almost as a parent that you do know what to look for and you can guide your kid to really simple, and Christina, I think my big takeaway from the first one, she said, I'm paraphrasing, but basically, if you wouldn't put it on social media attributed to yourself, do not put that content into your ChatGPT. And that was such a clear bit of information. You could see people like, oh, okay, that makes sense, redact. And I think that those really practical tools are super useful to all of us, really.
And one of the things as parents, and coming back to the social media example, right? Like we have seen how social media can positively or negatively impact our children.
Yes.
AI is that multiplied by 1,000, right? So we can't make the same mistakes we did in the past when social media arrived and we just were taken by, surprise. I think it's our duty for our little ones to actually be prepared. We don't have to be experts by any means, but at least we need to know the basics, right? So if we are protecting our kids nowadays with everything we know about social media, we have to be 10 times more, on top of how our kids are going to use AI, because definitely it's a tool to expand creativity, to let them be more curious, but at the same time, it can go sideways.
Oh, absolutely. Like most things.
Like most things.
Just depends our kind of use case scenario and how something's regulated and, and implemented and regulated at the same time. And that can be, I think that's the biggest challenge right now is because AI is just taking off so rapidly and evolving so fast that it's how do we kind of put the brakes on a little bit for us just to kind of catch up and be like, okay, hold on. How do we put some certain regulations or standards in place when it comes to use?
Yes.
So I want to touch on when you guys decided to have this first Women in AI Fireside Chat, and you said, okay, let's bring this to women out there and give them a better understanding. What are the challenges or the surface level misconceptions that we might be having about AI and how to use it in a daily life operations?
I think for me is I started seeing in the community that fear to take the first step, right? They believe that it feels like it's cheating. It feels like it's not truthful. It feels like it's going to replace me, so I better just don't go there. If I ignore it, it's going to disappear. And even though like I could see women in Cayman trying to, go made the first steps, they were struggling to understand where to start. People believe that because you're using ChatGPT and you put ChatGPT in your business, then I'm into AI, like I'm now, running faster than everybody else. And it's not actually the truth. Because if you don't have protocols, if you don't understand exactly what is the objective, why you're using AI, you're just maximizing the mess, right?
So, good phrase right there.
So is basically that's what inspired me to start these conversations. It was literally the playground conversations with other mommies. They were like, oh, I started using ChatGPT yesterday, and it's just terrible. It doesn't work. And I'm like, yeah, but how are you using it? And just walk me through it. And he kept repeating and repeating. When I said, well, but what about if you do this and this and this? And then the next week conversations were like, yeah, you're right. So now I can do this and this and that. So Jen and I, we have the privilege to work together. I have a registered exempt company with Tech Cayman. And when I'm building an AI first product, and we started having these conversations from a professional level. Mm-hmm. And Jen said, I think the conversation needs to be open. And we both came to the same conclusion. Our circle of AI conversations were within women. Mm-hmm. So then, Tech Cayman straight away jumped in to support the initiative. And they made their magic happen.
That's where we're at. All right, we're going to get into details about the upcoming Women in AI Fireside Chat, but we got to go to a quick commercial break first.
Tired of burning cash at the gas pump and wasting time in traffic? Say goodbye to gridlock and hello to freedom with a Kimco scooter from Automotive Art. Trusted in over 100 countries, Kimco is now known worldwide for reliable, fuel-efficient scooters built to last. Perfect for Cayman's roads. With 2 models to choose from, the Agility 125cc for just $23.99 and the Agility RS Naked 125cc for $24.99. It's the smart, budget-friendly way to beat traffic and cut costs. Visit Automotive Art today and ride smarter with Kimco, because saving money should never mean slowing down.
Parents, if you're navigating the world of boarding schools, it can feel overwhelming. Dorm and Day are here to help. You don't have to do it alone. Whether your child is reaching for new academic challenges, looking to shine as a competitive athlete, or simply searching for the school that brings out their best, Dorm and Day are your trusted educational experts located right here in Georgetown. For 10 years, Dorm and Day have helped families just like yours to find the best fit schools with one-on-one support every step of the way. So why stress when you can have an experienced partner by your side? Visit dormandday.ky or call 936-3676 today. Dorm and Day, celebrating 10 years of opening doors to brighter futures.
Why settle for noise when you can enjoy the hits that make you feel alive? 105.3 FM has the classics, the memories, and the vibe you've been missing. Switch your dial and catch the breeze. 105.3 FM.
The Buzz with your host, Kathy Miller.
Welcome back to The Buzz. I'm your host, Kathy Miller, and we are having a Women in AI Fireside Chat with Lissette Anez from Story Studio and Jennifer McCarthy from Tech Cayman. So we talked a little bit about why you decided to put the Women in AI Fireside Chat together and the success of the very first one. And I want to go into the upcoming event on November 21st. What kind of main areas or topics will be covered? How will it be different from the first one, if at all?
We look at each other. Who's going to answer? I'm going to start with the last part of that, is how it will be different. Some of it, because it's a chat, it's an organic fireside chat is the format. Things are different based on the questions that are asked. We have 2 speakers that were not on the original panel. So, but also some of it will be the same because many of the people who are coming were not able to attend the first one. So we're trying to make sure that the content is both covers the essential bits of the first one, but is also fresh for people that are coming back.
Okay.
Yeah. I also think that this time we're going to talk more about, like how to actually consider the fact that we need to educate ourselves. And I think that will be the main theme in this session. Last time it was more about the fear of it, right? This time we're going to go about you just really need to take your steps. Change is coming, and it's going to be an amazing change if we all, get ourselves trained on how to use this tool. I do believe that Cayman has an amazing opportunity to, be a pioneer in the Caribbean with adoption. But it all takes just for us to educate ourselves on it.
To train up, upskill ourselves, absolutely.
Yeah, 100%.
Things are changing, as you said, and it's going to change regardless. So we're either going to kind of have to change with it or get left behind.
Yeah,
and I don't want to be left behind.
I think last time our message was like, this is coming. You don't need to be afraid of it. This is not a monster, but it's coming. And I think the message for this second session is you need to be trained, like right now, is important for us to understand that technology this is one of the biggest technological revolutions in history.
Yeah.
And it's an exciting time to be alive. And things are going to change. And, it comes into the point where we need to understand that is up to us to train ourselves.
Yeah, absolutely.
Just wanted to throw into when we talk about training, as the non-technical of the two of us, it's also like play on it. It isn't, when we talk about training or training an agent or getting educated, it's like, whoa, what does that even mean? So I was playing around on one of the platforms that I learned about in the last session and generating bedtime stories. And it was in 23 seconds. I had customized a story with all of the elements for my colleague's 3-year-old. And that blew my mind. So, and that is training and that is educating yourself. So it doesn't have to be this daunting, like sit down and wreck your brain over it. Just play, see what's available, see what's out there. And that was in a formatted template off the cover page of this landing page of this particular platform. And again, it's that how to demystify, how to democratize, how to take some of the fear out. So I like to interchange, we talk about education, but it's also just play.
Yeah. I always say repetition is the mother of skill. And so the more you do something or try something out, the better at it you'll get. And the more, that's how your confidence is also built. So I completely agree with you. You don't know anything. There's always places you can start.
Yeah. And it's muscle
maybe
memory,
we can,
like you say, right? It was like Google. My kids always tease me because I Google everything, having grown up in the encyclopedia age.
Yes.
Your information was from the 1950s. But to have access to information at all times, they really do tease me a lot.
Mm-hmm.
But again, it's like trying to learn how to use AI all the time, creating that muscle memory. And I do, people do torment people who use it to rewrite their emails. But it's a great place to start. And if you get into the habit, then you start looking at it, and then suddenly it's making your performance reviews or it's putting a business plan together. You get in the habit of utilizing it as the best assistant you've ever had.
You're bettering yourself.
Exactly.
And what is wrong with that?
Yeah.
There's a lot of people I would like to encourage to try to put their emails in there.
100%.
So if you can see the positive changes there, you can see how to better yourself, and I don't think there's anything wrong with that. Your communication skills improve
unless you're using it to cheat.
Yeah.
So again, a lot of it is practical adoption, practical usage, and some guidance tools. So one of the things you'd asked about this Friday, and I kind of intimated at the start of the show, but we have one of the large cinemas, and we have 30 spots left.
Right.
So if anyone is interested in registering. Today would be a good day to do that because yesterday we spiked.
Yeah, 20 registrations
within about an hour. So the demand is there.
How do they secure a spot?
Well, they can. So we're all over LinkedIn. Definitely, they can visit any of our posts. We've been on our website, story.ky. There's also the link for them to go and register.
What are they looking for on LinkedIn? Is it Women in AI Fireside Chat?
Women in AI Fireside Chat, or they can go to story.ky, and then we have a banner in there where they can just click, and registrations are all for free. We are going to start sharp at 2:30. Well, we open doors at 2:30. We start sharp at 3. And the idea is to have an hour and a half conversation.
Yeah. The door will close, so we can start at 3.
Yeah,
As
right.
part, it's also about respecting people's time.
Yeah.
Yes.
So if we're saying we're starting at 3, we're very committed to giving people the opportunity to kind of plan around it and be quite as respectful as possible.
Yeah.
Because I'm one of those people that need that little window.
Well, we wanted to give people that half hour to, give them a breather to get their time in, but also to socialize and, to network.
And I think that's one part of the beauty of this movement, right? And I call it a movement because I do believe that the future of AI in Cayman is full of womanhood. It definitely in these playground conversations, in the coffee that we have, to each other. And I always share this with Jen that, women, we love to talk and share experiences and, give advice.
We do.
It's just part of us, right? And I always been very grateful for the friends who always have the hard conversations, when they're going through things that, are very hard or very happy or whatever. I can see myself, reflected and then I take it as an own experience. The same is with AI, the idea is that we go and say, hey, I started writing these bedtime stories for my kid and, try this app. And then the other one will come and say, oh my God, I tried yesterday this thing about matching my clothes and it's now terrible, like I now look like a clown or, it's just that sharing of perspectives that it just help us all. And
sharing of information and knowledge. I don't know why people want to hoard some things and act like gatekeepers to things that will help all of us. Yeah. But it is these conversations that we have with each other. And you created a story for a child in 23 seconds, right? A bedtime story, right?
So wild. I'm still going. I'm still talking about it.
Okay, I think this is really cool. And now I'm like, so did you read the story? How did that go? That's the real test per se, right? But it's just so that fascinates me, and I'm like, okay, I want to ask her some more questions about that. But it stimulates conversation.
Yeah, does. I think so. I think, and it's these easy wins that make a difference because I felt great about it. I'm like, I'm a genius.
Like 23 seconds.
I'm like, I could do this all day. Productivity out the window. But no, I think it is these conversations. And again, I learned a lot from the first session, and I'm looking forward to Friday as well because we're all learning, right? And it's, I think there aren't true experts in this space because it is changing so quickly.
Continuously
but
evolving.
We're very lucky. And this particular panel, too, we've got a really great cross-section of women who are either, creating AI products or utilizing AI extensively in their workplace, in their home. We have a nice age sort of diversification for this panel as well. So I'm really excited to hear.
Who is on the panel? Tell me about that.
It's a top. You have to come. You have to
come. You have to go, Kathy.
I'm so I know Tamsin's on it. Yes.
Tamsin is on it.
Lissette, you're moderating.
That is moderating.
I'm moderating. Awesome. Then we have Rachel from Tenant.
Mm-hmm. Yep. And so Rachel's new for this one. We're really excited to hear her perspective because she's been very much driving AI adoption within her workplace at Tenant as well. And they're very, they're obviously they're a tech company, so they're very driven by advancement. But this is having Rachel on the panel, I think, is a really nice addition.
Yeah, and then we have also Lucia Gallardo, which is also part of the innovation task force for the Cayman Islands government. Lucia is also a sponsor enterprise in
She's part of Tech Cayman's portfolio.
And Lucia is, a rock star. She's been traveling all over the world. She has projects all over. She's very much into blockchain too. So Lucia also has a very unique perspective on AI usage. So it's going to be fun, definitely.
Okay, wonderful. Yeah. Okay, now we only got a couple minutes left. So when it comes to why, people should be signing up for this event, why they got to go, let us know what your reasons are. I know we said a couple of them already, but to get those final people in, to get those 30 other spots secured, because it's going to go pretty quick.
I'd say if there's any curiosity about sort of where you are in the AI journey or where you would like to be, this is not going to be that one-stop shop where nobody's going to come out as a data scientist. But we do want people to feel comfortable to start the conversation and ask questions from the most basic level to, more advanced questions from the panelists. It really is to kickstart an AI journey.
Okay. The partners who have helped make this event possible, who has helped you with this?
Well, of course, Tech Cayman has been our, crimes partners in crime since the beginning. But we also have
Hyvern came in and they're sponsoring, which is just fantastic. And it was they were really great, not grateful. They were very pleased to participate as well because, again, it's they have a very strong women leadership team, and they wanted to participate, so that was great.
In both sessions, both of our partners last time was CNB, and like they jump into it straight away. Same, they have a strong leadership from women. And Hotburn this time, they didn't hesitate. It was just an ask, and straight away they said, yes, we want to support this. So we're super grateful for their support. Yeah.
Awesome. Yeah. And it is free to register, and we do recommend registering as quickly as possible because we do have very limited spaces left.
Yes.
So
yes.
Right. I mean, you said the event sold out in an hour or two?
2 hours. 2 hours last time. It was a smaller venue, and we sent a list of people we wanted to be there, and they say yes straight away. So we were like, what are we going to do now?
What are we going to do after we filled the cinema? Where do we go next? We're going to have to brainstorm that one.
It'll have to be a gala now. It'll have to be a big conference room of some sort. Yeah. Okay, ladies, thank you so much for joining me this morning.
Thank you so much for having us.
Again, people can go to story.ky to register, or look on LinkedIn, Women in AI Fireside Chat.
And they can do on the Tech Cayman social and Instagram and our LinkedIn as well.
Okay, perfect. These are all the ways you can register. It's absolutely free. It is this Friday, November 21st at the cinemas in Camana Bay. And the time starts at 2:30. The panel discussion starts strictly at 3 p.m. Do not be late, Kathy. All right.
We'll see you there, Kathy, right? You're coming.
Hopefully. I'm like, I thought I had a different training that day, and I have to look at my dates, but I'll let you know that in 2 minutes. All right. Thanks, everybody, for hanging out with me on The Buzz. I want to let you know that on Thursday, in recognition of International Men's Day, and, that should also be a month, right? We get Women's Month in March, right? So, I'm advocating for the men here. I am going to be having a roundtable discussion with some of the men in our community as we talk about positive male role models and the role of men changing in society. So hang out with me on Thursday. I'm really looking forward to that roundtable discussion. I love my roundtable discussions because I love to bring in some of our younger generations into that and really get a feel of what's going on in Cayman, how people are thinking. All right. So hang out with me on Thursday as well. And thank you, ladies, for being with me here this morning on The Buzz.
The Buzz is proudly sponsored by Cayman Insurance Center, specializing in property, life, and other lines of insurance products and services. And Kirk Market, experience a world of choice. And Automotive Art Cayman, your car, our passion. And by Dorman Day, celebrating 10 years of opening doors to brighter futures. Visit dormanday.ky.
Shaken yet standing firm. This is Radio Cayman.